Well, hello. It is Easter Sunday, April the 4th, and we are ready for lesson 94 in A Course in Miracles workbook for students. I am as God created me. I am as God created me. As if you were paying attention yesterday, in paragraph 6, under light and joy and peace abide in me, he kind of introduces this idea to us, and he's going to use it a number of times throughout the course. Your sinlessness is guaranteed by God. Remember how we said over and over, this must be repeated until it is accepted? It is true. Your sinlessness is guaranteed by God. Nothing can touch it, nor can change what God created as eternal. The self you made, evil and full of sin, is meaningless. Your sinlessness is guaranteed by God, and light and joy and peace abide in you. Salvation requires the acceptance of but one thought. You are as God created you, not what you made of yourself. Whatever evil you may think you did, you are as God created you. Whatever mistakes you made, the truth about you is unchanged. Creation is eternal and unalterable. Your sinlessness is guaranteed by God. You are and will forever be exactly as you were created. Light and joy and peace abide in you, because God put them there. Well, we should be overjoyed to know that light and joy and peace abide in us because God put them there, and that they can't ever be taken from us. And that all the things that we thought were mistakes are meaningless. They're nothing. They're not even real. I've said it a number of times, and I'm going to say it again, that we'll wake up from this dream that we've done something evil and sinful, and we'll realize, whether it's at point of death or whether or not we get a glimpse before we die or we step into it before we die. But the truth is that we are loved and accepted and can do no wrong, now in earthly terms, sure, you make mistakes, but what the Course is trying to get us to recognize is that our reality has been safely taken care of by God and kept that way, that light and joy and peace abide in you. Your sinlessness is guaranteed by God. I would hope you would be overjoyed. He even says that in yesterday's lesson. Were you able to take 5 minutes of every waking hour? Or did you do several waking hours? And did you do it at the first of the 5 minutes? I mean, the first 5 minutes. And what is the first 5 minutes of a waking hour? Is it from the time you think about it and now that hour? Or is it at the top of the hour at 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning? Or is it whenever you think about it during that hour? That's a quandary that I've always wondered. I wonder what he really wanted us to do. Like I said, if you had a grandfather clock, that would help on some of those. Of course, you probably wouldn't be around it all the time. And like I told you, I set my clock one year when I did the course and had it chime every hour. I think I did it more than that because I was doing one of the lessons where you're supposed to think about it several times an hour, which really that's what we ought to be doing. It should be just something that we're keeping in our consciousness constantly. Anyway, but if you didn't do it the first 5 minutes of the hour, did you at least take a moment to remind yourself that light and joy and peace abide in you? your sinlessness is guaranteed by God. All right. So that was yesterday. Paved the way for today. I am as God created me. Before we look at that and read that, look what I've got here for Easter. And have a blessed Easter, by the way. I've got an Easter lily, all in bloom. It smells wonderful, you know. You just have to take my word for it. We haven't got a way to transfer the aroma over the airless, even though I have heard that they have done that now, electronically transferring smells. Anyway, and look what I've got here. I thought, well, that thing's still looking pretty nice. That's my Christmas poinsettia. So, when you think of the birth of Christ, you think of a poinsettia. And when you think about the resurrection of Christ, you think about the lily. Well, I had them both, so what do you say? All right, lesson 93. Lesson 94. I am as God created me. I did want to say one more thing about the hour. At the top of the hour, middle of the hour. I usually just take the hour because I can't seem to remember to, I don't watch my clock and think, oh, it's exactly the top of the hour. Now, if I had some kind of way of, that I was in sync with a clock at my work or something, I might be a little different. But I get busy and get to working for an hour or two and may not notice that it's been that long. I try to at least bring the thought up every hour. Not necessarily at the beginning of the hour. At the beginning of the hour at like 01 or 00. But we did learn just back in lesson, I think it was 90, the last review lesson. Let me recognize my problems have been solved. And he talked about in that lesson that we've been misusing time. And that we believe the problem comes first and time must elapse before it can be worked out. I do not see the problem and the answer as simultaneous in their occurrence. That is because I do not yet realize that God has placed the answer together with the problem so that they cannot be separated by time. Anyway, that was a time idea that he started alerting us that he's going to start teaching us how to conceive of time differently. And I think we could use that on these lessons. If you get too preoccupied, just think about it, that the actual time, whether it's at the very beginning of the hour, literally, is not really as critical as just thinking about it every hour, knowing that as you think about this concept, it's bringing up a new hour at that moment. And anyway, I'm not sure that I should go into much detail. I don't know that I understand it real well myself, other than I have a great deal of trust in the author, which I clearly understand to be Jesus, of this book. And he talks about time being able to be thought of differently. So anyway, I think maybe that might be helpful, trying to get too caught up in trying to do it at the top of the hour, even though that he does recommend at the beginning of the hour. Whatever that means to you, do the best you can. Try it every hour. All right, I am as God created me. Today we continue with the one idea which brings complete salvation, the one statement which makes all forms of temptation powerless, the one thought which renders the ego silent and entirely undone. You are as God created you. The sounds of this world are still. The sights of the world disappear, and all the thoughts that this world ever held are wiped away forever by this one idea. I am as God created me. Here is salvation accomplished. Here is sanity restored. Wow, salvation accomplished and sanity restored. Master, are you saying that we're insane? Unfortunately, if you believe that if you don't yet understand that you are as God created you, and that light and joy and peace abide in you, and that your sinlessness is guaranteed by God, then you, in course's terminology, you're insane. So the insanity is restored, or the sanity is restored with this one idea. And salvation is accomplished. I am as God created me. And by the way, we'll use this repeatedly throughout the course. I am as God created me. Paragraph 2. True light is strength, and strength is sinlessness. True light is strength, and strength is sinlessness. If you remain as God created you, you must be strong, and light must be in you. He who ensured your sinlessness must be the guarantee of strength and light as well. You are as God created you. Darkness cannot obscure the glory of the Son of God. You stand in light, strong in the sinlessness in which you were created and in which you will remain throughout eternity. You'll remain sinless throughout eternity. You can't change it even if you wanted to, but you can not know it, which is kind of where we've been for a long time. Paragraph 3. Today we will again devote the first 5 minutes of each waking hour to the attempt to feel the truth in you. Begin these times of searching with these words: I am as God created me. I am His Son eternally. I am as God created me. I am His Son eternally. And, some of you women might rather say, I am His child or His daughter eternally. And I'm sure He's not going to be mind. I do think I understand why He uses the word son and father and doesn't ever make any references to the feminine, and I don't think it's because He's by any means patriarchal. I just think that He's reaching to the lowest, the ones that would be most difficult to understand this. He's trying to put it in terms that they would understand. And the ones of you that can see a little wider view, a little bit more liberated vantage point, surely you can not get trapped on the fact that the feminine is not referred to in a course for our brothers and sisters that would want to be able to understand it in the contexts of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. So we use those terms. Okay, paragraph 5. Now try to reach the Son of God in you. After you've said, I am as God created me, I am His Son eternally, the beginning of each 5 minutes of each hour for 5 minutes. Now try to reach the Son of God in you. This is the self that never sinned nor made an image to replace reality. This is the self which never left its home in God to walk the world uncertainly. This is the self which knows no fear, nor could conceive of loss or suffering or death. Wow. This is the self which knows no fear, nor could conceive of loss or suffering or death. Wow. So when you get to the place where you can't even conceive of death, well, then you know you're abiding in the true self. In the meantime, let's take the first 5 minutes and see if we can get a glimpse of it, a feeling of it, of this self that is that can't conceive of loss, suffering, or death. 6. Nothing is required of you to reach this goal except to lay all idols and self-images aside. Go past the long list of attributes, both good and bad, you have ascribed to yourself, and wait in silent expectancy for the truth. God has himself promised that it will be revealed to all who ask for it. You are asking now. You cannot fail because he cannot fail. You cannot fail because he cannot fail. Wow, he says just lay aside all idols. You know, you can make yourself an idol by believing something. And when you believe that you're sinful, you're believing in a self-image that is not real. So, you know, it's going to require some retraining of the mind for many of us that have come up in that world where we believed that we were sinful and fallible, and that God had turned his back, or that we had turned our backs is really what's kind of happened. But he made sure that the true self in us couldn't turn our back. And that's why we use forgiveness to restore to us this standing, this place that we are at in reality. Paragraph 7. You do not meet the requirements of practicing. If you do not meet the requirement of practicing for the first 5 minutes of every hour, at least remind yourself hourly, I am as God created me. I am his son eternally. I am as God created me. I am his son eternally. That's certainly one we'll want to write down today, huh? Tell yourself frequently today that you are as God created you. And be sure to respond to anyone who seems to irritate you with these words. You are as God created you. You are his son eternally. Wow. You know, the way we want to see ourselves is the way we want to see our brothers and sisters. Make every effort to do the hourly exercises today. Each one you do will be a giant stride toward your release and a milestone in learning the thought system which this course sets forth. All right? So he says make every effort to do the hourly exercises today, because it's going to be a giant stride to our release and a milestone in learning this new thought system. Okay? So I am as God created me. I am as God created me. I am his son eternally. Tell yourself frequently today that you are as God created you. And have a very blessed Easter.